The room was silent except for the slow hum of machines. The man sat on a steel bed, his eyes staring at the cold ceiling. His body was broken. His arms were gone, lost long ago in a war that had no winners. His chest rose and fell with heavy breath, as if every breath was a battle of its own. Beside him, on a smaller bed, lay his daughter. She was small, fragile, her face pale like moonlight. Her hair stuck to her forehead from fever. She coughed in her sleep, and each sound cut through him like a knife. He wanted to hold her, to comfort her, but he could not. He had no arms. The hospital smelled of medicine and metal. Strange screens glowed on the walls, showing symbols that were not human. This was not Earth. It was an alien city, far from home where the man had come seeking help. But here even hope felt like a stranger. A tall alien doctor entered the room. His skin was gray and his eyes were flat and cold like glass. He looked at the man, then at the little girl, and shook his head slowly. "She will not survive long," the doctor said in a calm voice. "She needs constant care. Without it, she will fade." The man's heart sank. He had fought through pain, through war, through endless nights of hunger and fear, only to hear this. He wanted to scream, to cry, but his lips stayed tight. He could not show weakness. Not in front of strangers. The door opened again. A woman stepped inside. She was tall, her movements smooth, almost too perfect. Her skin glowed faintly as if a light lived under her flesh. Her eyes were sharp, bright and unreadable. She looked at the child, then at the broken man. "I can help," she said. Her voice was clear, steady, without pity. The man turned his head toward her. Who was she? He had not seen her before in this place. She did not look like the doctors. She did not look human either. The woman stepped closer, her glowing hand hovering above the little girl. The child's breathing softened as if touched by calm air. The man's eyes widened. Was this a trick or a gift? The woman spoke again. "Aid me, be my husband. I will care for your child as my own." The words struck him like thunder. He blinked, unsure if he had heard her correctly. Marriage? A stranger? An alien? He stared at her, searching for her meaning. She did not smile. She did not frown. Her face was calm, but her eyes carried something heavy, something hidden. "Why?" he asked at last, his voice low, almost broken. The woman tilted her head. "Because I need you. And she needs me." The room grew colder. The man's thoughts raced. Was this a trap? A deal with a hidden price? Yet he looked at his daughter, her tiny chest rising weakly, her life slipping away like sand through fingers. He had no choice. He could not feed her. He could not lift her when she cried. He could not protect her from sickness or cold. Without help, she would die. The man closed his eyes. His voice trembled. "If you can save her, I will agree." The woman nodded slowly, as if she had expected his answer. She touched the child's forehead, and the girl's breathing grew stronger. A faint color returned to her cheeks. The man watched, torn between relief and fear. He wanted to thank her, but the words died in his throat. Something about the woman's calm face, her glowing skin, her strange demand made him uneasy. The doctor left without a word, leaving only the three of them in the silent room. The man sat in his bed, staring at the woman. She sat near the child, watching her sleep. Neither spoke. Outside the window, the alien city stretched in shadows and lights. Strange ships moved across the sky, leaving glowing trails behind them. The world outside was full of secrets, and now inside this small room another secret had just begun. The man did not know who this woman truly was. He did not know what she wanted from him, or why she had chosen him. But he knew one thing. His life, and his daughter's life, would never be the same again. And somewhere deep in his chest, past the fear, past the pain, a question burned like fire. Had he saved his daughter? Or given her away? The night was long, and the strange hospital room grew quiet again. The man could not sleep. He watched the glowing woman sitting beside his daughter's bed. She did not close her eyes, did not move much. She just sat there, calm, like a statue with a heartbeat. The child breathed easier now. Her small chest rose and fell, no longer weak as before. The man felt relief, but also fear. He had agreed to something he did not understand. Who was this woman? Why had she asked him to be her husband? The man tried to speak. His voice was rough, dry. "You saved her." "But why me?" The woman slowly turned her head toward him. Her glowing eyes caught the dim light of the room. "Because you are broken," she said softly. "Broken men make honest husbands." Her words cut him in a strange way. Broken. He knew it was true. No arms, no strength. A father who could not even hold his own child. But to hear it spoken aloud, it was like a blade pushed into his chest. He lowered his head, his jaw tight. You could choose anyone. Why bind yourself to me? The woman leaned closer to the child, brushing a hand over her hair. Her glow touched the girl's skin, and the child stirred gently as if comforted. I do not need anyone, the woman whispered. I need you, and her. The man's stomach twisted. Every word she spoke was calm, but heavy, like each one carried hidden weight. Outside, the city lights flickered through the window. Strange flying crafts moved like shadows across the night. Alien voices echoed faintly in the halls, too far to understand. The man felt trapped, caught between two worlds. The human world he had lost, and this new world he could not escape. The woman broke the silence again. You will live with me. I will feed you, clothe you, keep you safe. I will protect the child. In return, you give me your name, your bond, your life. Her voice was not a request. It was not even a demand. It was a statement, like she was reading a truth that had already been written. The man swallowed hard. His throat felt dry. He thought of his daughter, the only reason he was still alive. He could not fight. He could not care for her alone. He had no choice. Still, he asked, and if I refuse? The woman finally looked at him with a sharpness that made his skin crawl. Then she dies, she said, her voice flat, cold. The words froze the air between them. His chest tightened with rage and fear. He wanted to leap up, to strike her, to throw her away from his daughter, but he could not. He had no arms. He had no strength. He had nothing. The truth was clear. He was trapped. He closed his eyes, his voice low. I agree. The woman nodded once, slow and calm. Good. Then it is done. She touched the girl's forehead again, and a warm glow spread across her skin. The child smiled in her sleep, a small, innocent smile. The man's heart ached. His daughter was safe for now. But at what cost? The woman rose from her chair. She stood tall, her glow faint but steady, as if she carried light inside her blood. Tomorrow, she said, you will come with me. This place is not your home. My home will be your home now. The man wanted to ask where that was, what kind of place it might be, but the words stuck in his throat. He simply nodded, his eyes fixed on his daughter. As the woman left the room, her footsteps made no sound. The door closed, leaving him and his daughter alone again. The man looked at the sleeping child. He wanted to believe he had done the right thing. He wanted to believe this strange woman truly meant to help them. But deep inside, a heavy doubt grew stronger. Who was she really? What kind of life had he just walked into? The child stirred in her sleep, whispering softly, Papa. Tears burned his eyes. He leaned close, though he could not touch her. I'm here, he whispered. I'll keep you safe. I promise, but the promise felt weak in his chest, because he knew deep down, safety was no longer his to give. It now belonged to her, the glowing woman, and in that moment the man understood. He had not made a deal. He had made a trade. The new home was nothing like the hospital. It stood on the edge of the alien city, half hidden by tall black trees that bent in the wind. The house was large but quiet, built of smooth stone that shimmered faintly at night. Inside, the walls gave off a soft glow, like the house itself was alive. The man and his daughter moved in with the glowing woman. She gave them food, warm blankets, and a clean room. For the first time in weeks, the child laughed. She ran through the halls, her weak body slowly gaining strength. The man felt a piece of his heart heal when he heard her laughter, yet he could not rest. He watched the woman carefully. She was kind, yes. She fed the child. She told her stories in a voice calm like a flowing river. But at night, when the girl slept, the woman grew different. The first time it happened, the man woke to a strange sound. A soft humming, low and sharp at once, like two voices speaking together. He rose from his bed and moved quietly down the hall. There in the center of the house, the woman stood in the dark. She was facing a wall, her back to him. Her glow was brighter than before, her skin almost burning with light, and she was whispering. The man froze. The words were not human. They rolled out in a strange rhythm, quick and sharp, as if each sound was a command. The air in the room trembled with her voice. He held his breath, listening. Then for a moment he thought he heard something answer her. A faint echo, deeper, older, like a voice from far below the ground. The woman stopped suddenly. Her head tilted, and for a heartbeat the man feared she had seen him. But she only turned away and walked back toward her room. The man slipped back into bed, his heart racing. Sleep would not come again that night. The next morning, the daughter climbed into his bed. She smiled and pointed to the window. "Papa," she whispered, "I saw her shadow." His chest tightened. "Whose shadow?" "The lady's," the girl said, her eyes wide with wonder. "She was standing in my room when I woke up. But her shadow was not like hers. It was big, long, with claws." The man's mouth went dry. He tried to smile for her, tried to keep his voice calm. It was only a dream. But deep inside, he knew it was no dream. Days passed. The woman remained kind, always watching the child, always speaking gently. Yet the man noticed small things that did not fit. She never ate food in front of them. She never slept. At times, she stared too long at the child, her glowing eyes full of something the man could not name. One evening, he decided to follow her again. When the child slept, he moved quietly down the hall. The woman had left the house, her steps soundless. The man followed as best he could. The forest outside was dark, filled with strange glowing plants that pulsed with light. He saw her walking among the trees, her glow brighter than ever. She moved to a clearing where a circle of other glowing figures stood waiting. The man hid behind a tree, his breath slow and shallow. The figures spoke in the same sharp language he had heard before. The air shook with their voices, heavy with power. He understood nothing, yet he felt fear pressing down on him like a hand on his chest. One of the figures pointed toward the city, then toward the stars. Another looked at the woman and asked something in their tongue. She answered with calm certainty, her voice strong. Then silence. The group looked toward the forest where he was hiding. The man's heart stopped. Did they see him? He pressed himself against the tree, holding his breath, praying they would not find him. Moments passed. Finally, the figures turned away. The woman raised her hand, and the others melted into the shadows of the forest. Their glow faded until only she remained. The man waited until she left before stumbling back to the house. His legs shook beneath him, his mind heavy with fear. When he returned, his daughter was still asleep, safe in her bed. He sat beside her, watching her small chest rise and fall. He wanted to believe she was safe. But he could no longer deny what he had seen. This woman was not just strange. She was part of something larger, something hidden in the dark, and whatever it was dangerous. The man closed his eyes, his chest heavy with dread. He had made a deal with her. But he was beginning to see the truth. The woman had secrets, and one day soon those secrets would come for him, and for his daughter. The forest was not safe anymore. Each night the man heard the whispers. Strange lights flickered between the black trees, voices echoing in a language that was not human. He no longer slept easily. He kept himself awake, listening, waiting. The woman remained calm. She cared for the child, gave her food, wrapped her in blankets, and told her stories. To anyone watching, she looked like a mother. But the man could see the cracks in the mask. Her eyes glowed brighter now. At times, when she thought no one was watching, her face changed. Shadows stretched across her skin, sharp and alien, as if her true shape fought to break through. He knew he had to learn the truth. One night, when the woman left again, he followed her. His heart pounded in his chest as he walked through the forest, careful not to make a sound. The trees bent low, their black branches curling like claws. Glowing plants lit the path with faint blue light, guiding him deeper. The clearing was alive with light. The woman stood in the center, surrounded by the glowing figures. They were tall, their faces hidden in shifting shadows. Their voices rolled together, a chorus of whispers that felt heavy in the air. The man crouched behind a fallen log, trying not to breathe too loudly. This time, he understood something. The voices spoke not only in their alien tongue but also in broken human words, rough and cold. Hosts. Vessels. Bloodline. The man's skin crawled. They were speaking about humans. One of the glowing figures pointed toward the city. Too many, too weak. They do not last, the woman raised her hand. Her voice was calm, strong. This one will last. The child is perfect. She carries what we need. The man's heart froze. His daughter. He clenched his teeth, rage boiling inside him. He wanted to shout, to run forward, to take his daughter and flee far away. But he could not. He had no arms. He had no strength. He could only watch. Another figure asked, "And the man?" The woman's glowing eyes narrowed. He is broken, but he is useful. He will bind the child to me. A family bond makes the vessel strong. The words cut into him like fire. Now he knew. She had not saved his daughter out of kindness. She had saved her because she needed her. This was no family. This was a trap. The gathering ended. The glowing figures vanished into the forest, their light fading into the shadows. The woman stood alone for a moment, staring up at the stars. The man slipped back through the trees, heart racing, trying to return before she did. His breath came hard, his legs weak, but he forced himself to move. He had to get back to his daughter first. When he reached the house, the girl was still asleep. Her small face looked peaceful, her lips curled in a faint smile. The man sat beside her bed, watching her, tears burning his eyes. He whispered to her softly, though she could not hear, "I will not let them take you. I swear it." The door creaked open. The woman entered, her glow faint now, her face calm as always. She looked at the man, then at the child, and smiled softly. "She is stronger. Soon she will not need medicine." The man forced a nod, hiding the storm inside him. He could not let her see what he knew. Not yet. The next days were heavy with silence. The man pretended to accept his new life, but his mind never rested. He watched the woman closely, every movement, every word. The way she touched the child's hair too often. The way she looked at him not as a husband but as a piece in her game. At night he sat awake thinking of escape. But where could he go? This was not Earth. The city outside was full of her kind. He was alone, broken, weak, and yet, in his chest, a fire grew. He remembered the war. He remembered surviving against odds that should have killed him. He remembered holding his daughter the day she was born, swearing to protect her no matter what. He could not fight with his body, but he could fight with his mind. One evening, as the child laughed in the garden, the man sat in the shadows watching the woman. She moved with grace, smiling at the girl, but her glowing eyes flickered toward him, sharp and watchful. The man met her gaze. For the first time, he did not look away. The woman tilted her head, her smile faint. "Do you not trust me?" The man's voice was calm, steady, though his heart pounded. "You saved her life. For that I am grateful, but I see more than you think." For a moment, silence hung between them. Then the woman's smile widened. Not warm. Not kind, cold, knowing. "Good," she whispered. "It is time you saw." The light in her skin flared, bright and sharp. Her shadow stretched long across the ground, claws curling, teeth hidden in the dark. The man's breath caught in his throat. His fear was real. His choice was clear. He had to act soon before it was too late. The days grew heavier, like clouds before a storm. The man felt the weight of every passing hour. His daughter grew stronger, her cheeks full of color, her laughter bright in the halls. But the stronger she became, the more uneasy he felt. The woman was always near. She watched the girl with eyes that glowed faint in daylight, brighter at night. She spoke kindly, her words soft as water, yet every kindness felt sharp. The man saw it now. Every touch, every smile was not love. It was possession. One morning, as the child played in the garden, the woman knelt beside her. She brushed the girl's hair behind her ear and whispered, "You are ours now. You will never be alone again." The man heard the words from the doorway. His blood turned cold. He stepped forward, his voice hard. "What do you mean, ours?" The woman stood slowly. She looked at him with calm eyes, a faint smile on her lips. "She is mine as much as yours." That was the bargain. The man clenched his jaw. The bargain was her life, not her soul. The woman tilted her head as if amused. "Do you think you can keep her without me?" "She breathes because of me. She walks because of me. Without me, she dies," her words cut deep. He wanted to argue, to shout, but his throat tightened. She was right, and she knew it. That night he tried again to follow her. But this time she did not leave the house. She stayed in the child's room long after the girl had fallen asleep. The man sat awake, listening. Through the thin wall he heard her humming. It was not a human song. It was low, cold, and full of strange echoes. He pressed his ear closer, straining to hear. Then the humming changed. Words slipped into the air, sharp, inhuman words. He recognized the rhythm, the same language from the forest. His stomach twisted. The girl whimpered in her sleep. The man almost called out, but then the child's breathing softened again. The humming stopped. Silence returned. He sat back, his chest tight. She was doing something to his daughter. Something hidden, something he could not see. The next day, he confronted her. His voice shook, but he forced the words out. "What are you doing to her at night?" The woman's eyes flickered. For a long moment, she said nothing. Then she smiled, slow and cold. "I am preparing her. She is almost ready." The man's heart pounded. "Ready for what?" The woman's voice dropped, her glow brighter now. "For us, for the bond. She will be more than human. She will carry our blood. She will be the bridge." The man's breath caught. The bridge. The word echoed in his skull like thunder. He understood now his daughter was not being saved. She was being changed. He stepped closer, his voice trembling with rage. "No, she is my daughter. You will not take her." The woman did not move. She only smiled. "Without me, she will not live. Do you wish to kill her yourself?" The words crushed him. He staggered back, torn between fury and despair. That night he tried to make a plan. Escape was impossible. The city was full of her kind. The forest was alive with shadows. He had no arms, no strength. He was broken, but he was not blind. He began to watch her more closely. He noticed how she touched her glowing skin before the rituals, how her eyes dimmed slightly afterward. It cost her something. She was not invincible, still she grew bolder. She began calling the child ours more often. She held her longer, whispered to her when she thought he was not listening. The girl, innocent and trusting, smiled at her. She did not know the danger. One evening, the woman set a table with strange food. She placed the child in the center as if it was a celebration. Her glow was strong, her eyes full of hunger. She looked at the man. "It is time. Tomorrow the bond begins." His heart sank. The trap was closing. He stared at his daughter, laughing softly, unaware of the storm waiting above her. The man knew then he had to act. He had to fight, broken or not, because tomorrow he might lose her forever. The night before the bond, the man could not breathe easy. His daughter slept in the next room, safe only in appearance. The woman sat near her, glowing faintly like a lamp in the dark. She did not close her eyes. She never did. The man lay on his bed staring at the ceiling. His mind churned like a storm. Tomorrow she would begin whatever ritual she had planned. Tomorrow his daughter would no longer be his. He whispered to himself words he had spoken 1,000 times. "I will not lose her. Not again. Not ever. But how?" He had no arms, no weapon, no allies. The alien city outside was not his world. Every street, every shadow belonged to her kind. Running seemed hopeless. Fighting was impossible, and yet he had survived worse. Long ago in the war he had been trapped behind enemy lines. No food, no weapon, only his will to live. He had learned then that strength was not always in the body. It was in the mind, in patience, in cunning. Now he needed that same strength. He began to plan. At dawn, the woman left the house briefly, as she often did, walking into the forest. The man seized the moment. He went to his daughter's room. She stirred and opened her eyes, smiling faintly. "Papa," she whispered. "Is it morning?" "Yes," he said softly. His voice shook, but he forced calm into it. "Listen to me. We may have to leave soon, very soon." The girl blinked, confused. "But where will we go?" "Somewhere safe." He leaned close, his face full of urgency. "When I tell you to run, you run. You do not stop. Do you understand?" Her small eyes widened. She nodded slowly. He kissed her forehead, though the gesture felt empty without arms to hold her. Tears burned his eyes. She was too young to understand, but she trusted him. That trust was his only weapon. The woman returned. She looked at him with sharp eyes, as if sensing his thoughts. Her smile was calm but not warm. "Today," she said, "the bond begins." The man swallowed his fear. "What must I do?" She studied him for a long moment. "Only accept. Only stay by her side. Together you make the vessel strong." His heart ached. She spoke of his child as if she were not human, as if she were only a tool. Rage burned inside him, but he kept his face steady. That evening, the house changed. Strange symbols glowed along the walls. The woman lit no lamps. The light came from her skin and from the markings that pulsed like living veins. The air felt heavy, pressing down on him. She led the child to the center of the room. The girl looked nervous, clinging to her father's side. "Papa," she whispered. "What is happening?" He bent close, whispering back, "Be brave. Stay strong." The woman raised her hands, her glow spreading wide. Shadows bent and twisted on the walls. Her voice filled the room, speaking words not meant for human ears. The girl trembled. The man's chest tightened. He had to act now or lose her forever. He shouted suddenly, breaking the rhythm of her words. "Stop!" The woman's voice fell silent. She turned her glowing eyes on him, her face calm but sharp. "You cannot stop this. She is already ours." The man stood tall, his broken body trembling but unbending. "She is mine. She is my daughter, and I will protect her even if I die." The room grew colder. The woman stepped closer, her glow burning brighter. Shadows stretched like claws. "You cannot fight me. You cannot even hold her." The man's jaw tightened. "I can still choose." Her eyes narrowed. "Choose?" "Yes," he said. His voice was steady now. "I can choose to stay, or I can choose to take her and run." For the first time, the woman's calm broke. Her glow flickered. "You would not escape. The city is mine. The forest is mine. Where would you go?" The man met her gaze without fear. "Anywhere. Farther than you think, because I would rather die running with her than live watching you take her." Silence filled the room. The child looked between them, her small hands shaking. The woman stared at the man for a long time. Then she smiled, but the smile was strange, almost sad. "Then you are stronger than I thought, broken, but strong." Her glow dimmed slightly, though her eyes never left his. "Run if you must. But remember, what is inside her cannot be undone. You cannot take that from me." The man's heart sank. He had no idea what she meant. But he knew one thing. He had to try. He looked at his daughter, his voice soft but firm. "Get ready." The girl nodded, her small face pale but brave. The choice was made. Tonight they would run. The night was cold. The alien forest whispered with strange voices, branches bending in the wind like long arms reaching for prey. The man ran, his broken body stumbling but unyielding. His daughter ran beside him, her small hand gripping the fabric of his torn shirt. "Papa, where are we going?" she whispered, her breath fast and sharp. "Far away," he answered, forcing strength into his voice. "Just keep running. Don't stop." Behind them, the house glowed like fire through the trees. The woman was coming. He could feel it. The air itself trembled with her power. They reached a clearing. Strange lights pulsed under the ground, like veins glowing in the soil. The child stumbled, and he dropped to his knees beside her. He could not lift her, he had no arms, but he leaned close, whispering fiercely, "You must stand. You must be strong for me, for us." She nodded, tears in her eyes, and pushed herself up again. Her trust was a flame in the dark, giving him strength. But then, light. The woman appeared at the edge of the clearing, her body shining like a star. Her eyes glowed white, her shadow long and monstrous behind her. "You cannot run," she said. Her voice was calm, but it echoed like thunder. "This world is mine. The forest bends to me. The air carries my will. You cannot escape." The man stepped forward, shielding his daughter with his broken body. His heart hammered, but his voice did not tremble. "Then kill me, but you will never take her." The woman tilted her head, her glow flaring brighter. "Kill you? No, you are part of this. You are the bond that makes her strong." The girl clung to her father's side. "Papa, I'm scared." He bent close, whispering, "Don't be. I'm here." The woman stepped into the clearing. The glowing ground pulsed stronger, answering her presence. She raised her hand toward the child. "She carries it already." "Can you not see?" Her breath, her blood, it glows faintly now. "She is the bridge between my kind and yours." The man's chest tightened. He looked at his daughter's small face, and then he saw it. Faint lines of light under her skin, pulsing like threads of fire. His stomach turned. It was true. The woman had done something to her. The woman's voice grew softer, almost tender. "She will not die like the others. She will be more than human, more than alien. She will be the future. Our future." The man shook his head violently. "She is a child. She is mine, not yours. She is both," the woman replied. "And soon she will be more than either." The forest grew silent. The stars above seemed to watch, cold and distant. The man's heart raced. He had only one choice left. He turned to his daughter. "Do you trust me?" Her eyes were wide, but she nodded. "Yes, Papa." He closed his eyes for a moment, gathering all the strength left in him. When he opened them again, his voice was steady. "Then we choose, not her, not anyone else. We choose what you will be." The woman's calm cracked. Her eyes narrowed, her glow flared. "You cannot choose. It is already done. The man stepped forward, standing between the woman and the child. His broken body trembled, but his spirit blazed. Then I will fight you with what I have left. Not with arms, not with weapons, but with love. And love is stronger than you. The woman froze. For the first time, she looked uncertain. The child stepped out from behind her father. Her small hands trembled, but her eyes glowed faintly now like hers. She looked at the woman, then back at her father. I don't want to be yours, she said, her voice soft but clear. I want to be his. The glowing lines in her skin pulsed brighter as if answering her will. The woman's face twisted with shock. No, she hissed. The bond is mine. But the child ran back into her father's embrace, pressing her head against his chest. Light spread from her body into his, faint but real, wrapping them both in a glow not of the woman's making. The woman staggered, her own glow flickering. Impossible. She should not choose. She should obey. But the forest itself seemed to answer. The ground pulsed brighter, the stars shimmered. The choice had been made, not by the woman, not by the man, but by the child. The woman let out a cry that shook the trees. Her light flared and then dimmed like a flame smothered by wind. She vanished into the shadows, her voice echoing as she fled. This is not the end. She is mine. She will always be mine. The clearing fell silent again. The man sank to his knees, tears streaming down his face. His daughter clung to him tightly, her small body glowing faintly in the dark. He whispered into her hair, his voice breaking but full of love. You chose. You are free. You are mine. Above them, the stars burned brighter, cold but eternal. The truth was clear. His daughter was no longer only human. She was something more, something born of love but touched by alien blood, and the woman's words still haunted him. This is not the end. The man held his daughter close, his broken body trembling but his spirit unbroken. He would fight again. He would protect her. Whatever came next, they would face it together, because he had made his choice. And so had she.